Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is our 4 weeks to success training squad that we have for 2020, at least going through first quarter. And I just want to say thank you again to everyone who is volunteering to become the best leader by being an incredible coach, support, and trainer to National Amber Region. So thank you for that. Secondly, I want to just make sure everybody knows each other. Some may know each other, you might know a few people, so we're just going to get you caught up on who's who and who's with who. So, that being said, let me first go to the days, the times, and who's on what week. So, we'll do intros through who is who. So, first, what we have in Smart Start Mondays, which it's not going to be called Smart Start. We're going to actually tweak those words to just call a spade, which is something to the effect, and you can use your brain to think, 4 weeks to business success or 4 weeks to business launch. Not sure what we call it, but it may just be 4 weeks to business success. So we've got that on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. So typically, we have had 4 different topics to our weeks. And so, as we've been doing historically, we have week 1, the first Monday. By the way, we always do the first 4 Mondays. And if there's a holiday, then we skip that and it just continues in the month. So, they're typically, as you look at your calendars, will always be the first 4 Mondays. The first subject we typically do is called Smart Start. The second week is typically called Smart Money. The third week is typically called Smart Tools, and the fourth week was typically called Smart Sharing. So we will refine those words. It's not necessarily critical to worry about what the words are, but in those 4 weeks, let me first introduce you to those teams. So week 1, and Lori has been on this week for the whole year. Lori will be partnered up with Miss Betty Green. So Lori and Betty, a big hello. Woohoo! So we've got those two. They will be working with the 6 p.m. Monday night, week 1. Week number 2, we've got Evelyn and your new partner, Carolyn. So let's have a wave from Evelyn and Carolyn. So Carolyn's from Wisconsin, Evelyn from California. And so you two will be the training squad for week 2. Then we've got week 3. We will have Michelle. I don't think did she make it on?
Yeah.
There she is. Hi, Michelle. So Michelle Ainsworth coming to us from Utah. And Rochelle Barnes, I know she's on the phone. She's not. Oh, there she is. So she's in the middle of moving things around. I think she might pop on camera. So Rochelle, welcome. Rochelle's joining us from Texas. So she will be the new partner to week number 3 on Smart Start Monday. Week number 4, we have, bear with my brain. We have week 4. Here they go. They're going social. We've got Jackie and Hannah, the 2 queens of social media. So they're going to have fun. They will be replacing Lisa and Sharon, who did a great job. So just grateful to have all of you on Monday nights. So that being said, let me introduce you to the team for Tuesdays. Tuesdays at 6 p.m. will be the 4 weeks to leadership. So again, we can tweak names. I'm not too concerned about it, but we're going to have the 4-week countdown to promoting. If for some reason they don't promote that month, they can come back the next month. That will be in unison of pairs. I have Gail Jamison and Vicki Hoover coming to us from Montana and California. They will work with week 1, kicking off the 4-week countdown to leadership. Week number 2 will be Donna and her promoting manager, Esther, or her, whatever, I said it backwards. Esther and her promoting manager, Donna. So coming to us from the Carolinas, they will be working together in week 2. Then in week 3, I don't think you changed this, did you, Cheryl? And you're muted.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I haven't changed it yet, but I do need to, unless I can drive everybody out of my house for that first Monday. I don't know how to get over
Okay.
that. I don't know how to tell people it's time for you to leave.
Yeah, that's not always easy.
So,
So they may be rearranging those weeks. I'm putting that in your hands. So that's up to you guys. But Cheryl will be with us, and she will be joining Susan Nichols from Northern California as well. So there'll be a great duet as well for week 3, or if we got to rearrange things. And then we have in week 4, finishing the month strong, will be Marie Menard and Miss Shafika Miles coming to us from the East Coast. So yay, yay, yay. So you all have very unique strengths. You all have unique personalities. So we really do not have any of the trainer teams the same. For the kickoff to 2020, some of them have been trainers, but they worked with different teams. So this is kind of fun because you'll get your groove. So the first thing I want to say is pause and breathe. Okay. The key is it'll take you about the first 3 months to figure it out. And we're not after perfect training. This is not about you being this amazing, perfect training team. And I'm going to let my experts give you some tips on that. But really, overall, just so you see my expectations, the key is if you can't do your week as a team, switch with someone. It's okay. Or ask someone to fill in with your partner if you can't, but she can. So now we've got 16 of us in moving parts. What we will do, what we have for Monday nights, I'm going to reveal the Monday night structure that we're probably not going to change. We really all agreed. We had a call last week. Really, nothing's broken. So we're not necessarily here to fix it. The first 3 months, we're not here to really edit a whole lot, to be honest, at least from the Monday night, because we already have that built. So what we have so far, the system of how do we get people connected and attending. So the first, or the typically on Mondays, there is no typical in Jafra, but in typical Mondays, I usually get a list every Monday of the new consultants that are sponsored. So many of you maybe have been copied on this. The minutes the new consultants are in my e-box, I send the new consultants a welcome email. Okay, so just to kind of get those of you new to the squad, new to see this structure. So they get an email welcoming them. I have a video in there welcoming them to the region. We've got all the links to join WhatsApp, to join Zoom, and we send them a Smart Start workbook. So I'm going to show that workbook in a minute. So I'm not doing it right now. But the purpose of that is they know to go right to Monday nights and get 4 weeks of training support. I typically tend to copy the manager as well as the sponsoree, so they know that that was sent, because my expectations are a leader should be the follow-up person. You are not the leader. You are not the coach. You are there every Monday night on your same week, same time, delivering basic training, and again, available for Q&A or tips because you're the experts. So, but remember, if they start reaching out to you, that's not the goal. They have a manager. We are not here replacing managers. We're here supplying a place, a support system for new consultants for their onboarding until we further see what Jafra might have for them. So again, they get that email, and we typically copy the upline and or the sponsoree. So that goes out. From there, we typically, as the weekly trainers, know what's in that workbook, because basics never change, okay? Even when we go to new managers, I've been working with the future managers for 6 weeks by myself, 2 times a month. And I definitely believe they need some connections weekly. There's kind of a little groove that happens when the same people come together each week. Even though they have different trainers, they tend to build, you know, a little bit of unity each week and cheer each other on. So I wanted to really be with the future leaders by myself for a while to see what the needs are. It's a little more weaving than consultant basics. So we tend to ask a lot of questions in the beginning, and they weave through it based on their needs. But believe it or not, I still use the exact same Smart Start workbook. So It never changes. It doesn't change when you're a director. It doesn't change when you're a manager, a district manager. So let me just grab that really quick so you'll see what that means in a second. But again, our goal is that the future manager team, the 4 weeks to leader team, that is going to be just a tad different. I'm going to work on it over the holidays. If I have anybody here who loves to write training curriculums, I'll take you. So I know we're going to use a little bit of what we've had in the pilot team. For some of you that are in the Success Squad, we're going to actually take that and use that as our core, which is how do you manage your time? How many hours should I spend doing what? How to keep a scorecard of the number of conversations you have every week, and really the steps to promoting to manager. So we're going to stay very basic, and alongside that, use the Smart Start as a building list. So we're going to be able to see that they actually kind of correlate together. In the Monday nights, a couple of things. So I'm going to share my screen. So let me get through this boring stuff, then we can have a little bit more fun. Okay, so let me get into the workbook itself. And all of the tweaks, all of that stuff, we will edit. We could do it by January. We could do it by March. It's not in your hands to be responsible for that. But the workbook itself, so you see what we're talking about, what we try to do is we tell them again, we get them all set up to attend, and we give them key action steps to book their ribbon cutting party in their first 10 days, to make their invite list and set up an event online on social media, invite 30 people, blah, blah, blah. I won't go through all of it, but we give them kind of that steps for success. And we ask them to talk to their manager every single week. There is a reason I'm doing this boring reading to you. It's because nothing is different when you're promoting. Promoting is about maybe having a team launch party, bringing your team together to get ready to go into qualifications. It's about maybe hosting your own kickoff event to tell everyone you're excited. This is your month to set a goal and build a team, and they could host their own party. Again, do they have everything set up? Maybe they have Facebook groups for their consultants, for their clients. And the most important thing is that they're talking to their manager every single week. So truthfully, when we build the 4 weeks to leadership workbook, not much is going to change. It's just going to have a different spin to it. So you're going to see the training parallels as it should be, because the business never changes. So again, then we go into telling them where training is. We talk about best suggestions. Obviously, we don't have this, but invest in spending time with your new consultants for future leaders to encourage them to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime new consultant pack. You and your team set up some team parties or practice parties. So you're going to see everything's going to have very similar suggestions. And I'll add a couple different tools for promoting based on some pilot teams we've been doing. Then we talk about, again, the purpose of our training and all that we do is how to have monthly sales. 400 VIP is our goal, and to get to 4 people so that they start building 11%. So we give them just a little bit of information within that welcome letter. There's also a little bit more in the welcome email, which you'll all get a copy of just in case you don't have it nearby. Then we've got the 2 packs in there. I'm just going to show you so you get a mindset. Welcome to Jafra. So again, the future leader team, not much is going to change other than saying, how do you get your team to 2,400? Then how do you maintain once you get there? It's continuous sponsoring. Get your first 4, then your next 4. And using the programs that Jafra has. Don't let a new consultant leave this on the table. Your goal is to follow up with your new sponsors to encourage them to double dip in Welcome to Jafra and VIP. Now we will add the VIP picture in here because we didn't change this since then, but that will be added. We use Evelyn's updated family shopping list. So in one of the weeks, we're talking about be your best shopper. As a future leader, same thing. You're going to talk about how every month when the new brochure comes out to call each of your consultants and help them start building their Jafra market at home. So when people are using everything Jafra, they're more apt to share. So we really use a lot of the same tools. You never forget your contact list. So every call you want to be talking about, get out your contact list. The key is, again, who do they know? What conversations did they have? What results did they get? So it's really, again, keeping contact lists. We work from the Jafra contact list, and then we work from the memory jogger. I will tell you, this is what I really use with the future managers. This is number one. I don't use really the 100 list as much because the new consultant really uses that because she's brand new. It's kind of like she's planning her wedding. She could have 200 people there. So we use kind of her old-fashioned address book. When you get to be a future leader, you're really talking about OCIs, observing people, connecting with them. So we really use this memory jogger. And for those of you that have been with the pilot program I just ran, we use the success qualities. We did this last night. They were like, oh my gosh, they got off the phone. They had people to sponsor. So it's always constantly saying, how many are on your list? What did you do last week? This is a great tool. I love this. This is really for the new consultants Monday night. This is a tool the leaders should be doing, but this is a great tool for 4 weeks to leadership because you start the month. So that first week, being Gail and Vicki, this is the most important thing, is setting those goals, planning their weeks. And again, each week we start the call with these 4 questions. Great, what was great that happened last week, future leaders? What challenges? What went well? What do we have to do different to achieve our goal? So I'm going to be really honest. It's really just using tools, not a lot of slides, that will happen with future leaders. And we give them an overall goal planning sheet, again, more intended to be used with their leader, but teaching them to really pause, have goals, share them with their family, and how to overcome obstacles. And then we have a final slide that gives them all of the resources, the websites, company information, all of the Facebook groups, blah, 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 blah. We actually updated this in our email. And so, we'll be updating that worksheet. Again, we haven't done this for a while. We then put in their top tips on working with WhatsApp and working with Zoom. So we do that in case they don't quite know how to manage the program. So if you're coming on, you can say, go ahead and look at your workbook. So, and again, another sheet that was there. So looking at that, we just teach them all the different ways to accumulate $400 a week or $400 a month. So we review those activities. That's kind of smart money. Then we talk about what we have with Jafra, what we have not, and we're always challenging them to bring their business bestie in. Who's going to be their business buddy? You never do this business alone. That's really our drive every week. How many of you have your first business buddy? So when you go to Future Leaders, it's your first 4. So these little workbooks will get updated. That's what I do on my Christmas break with a cup of cocoa and a lot of PJs. So I will be updating those and we will be reviewing them as a team. So we will do that the first couple of days of January, but it's not rocket science. They're tools and formats that you can go through, but when you do the countdown to 4 weeks to leadership, it's not really new information. It's taking 2,400, dividing it into 6 weeks. It's a little stronger goal orientated than it is for a new consultant, okay? So again, I just kind of want you to see the parallel that we really want to keep it super basic. So we start out with using those same worksheets. Otherwise, we just give them to people and they never use them. And without them, I'm going to promise you they'll fail. They will not achieve their goal. We have to teach goal setting, time management, and doing key activities, income producing activities only. So those both will be updated. All right, I got one more little segment here, okay? And then I'm going to come back to Q&A. Then I've got some slides on tips for Zoom as a trainer, and you'll see how we're gonna kind of onboard each other here. All right, so boring information here. All right, let me go to the next piece to this is, again, they have the email, they have the workbook. When you come to how else we support the new consultants to the future leaders, they join WhatsApp. So the goal is, in that email, we refer them to clicking and going on to WhatsApp. So we'll train on independent teams and different Monday and Tuesday teams, in case you don't know how to do that. But we add them, which you will all be able to be administrators on our WhatsApp as well as on our Zoom as a host. Okay, so you'll have all of our passwords. You'll know how to do all of that. The goal is that we have these two groups, that they have a place for engagement, they have a place to help each other, versus Facebook, they're a little bit more intimate in these WhatsApp groups. Unless they promote to manager, I don't ever remove them. Once they promote to manager, I take them out of there if they're in the future manager list and move them to the Amber region. I have a process of welcoming them. So I add them into the regional group, I take them out of the group, okay? Your only role is to add them to the new consultant WhatsApp or to the future leader WhatsApp because they attended a meeting that night. So if they want their leader on there, I love leaders on there, being able to give a couple of 2 cents here and there, that's fine. You can certainly, ask them to tell their leader, or we can add their leader into that. I don't know who's joining because their phone number's in the list to me. So unless you say to me, she's joining, blah, 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 I really don't manage that. I let you do it. They can add in. If the leader wants to join, great. And if I know who the leader is, great. I love to add her. They can take themselves out anytime they want. Okay. So the support group we have, we make sure they're on the Amber Region Facebook every single week. That's a mandatory. Make sure you're in. Make sure you're in the WhatsApp. And again, as trainers and as leaders, our goal is to engage them. So if you see nothing, there's cricket, do something about what your week was about. Encourage them, post a picture, do a share. So we don't want this to just be, why am I in this group? And it isn't me, okay? It's all of us as trainers. So every trainer will be in their WhatsApp team. If you're not a trainer in that week, I'll probably take you out so you don't have too many groups anyway. I'm going to just kind of be where you land. So that's the WhatsApp support. Okay, let me go to 2 more things. I think that's it on my list. Next, in the units on Facebook, is there anyone who does not use the units? Okay, when you go into the Amber Region Facebook group, under units, you have the second unit is called Smart Start. The first one is for leaders, our Monday trainings. The second one is for Smart Start, which is the consultant Monday night. I will have a third one now for the 4 weeks to leadership. What we will do is we will post those workbooks there. Okay, so they always can go find them. People lose them all the time. Or a leader goes, oh, I don't know where I put it. Okay, we'll go into your units. Please don't start emailing people. That is not your job to manage those things. We have everything in place for them to go find, okay? And they need to start using those tools. It's not your role to constantly do that. If we feel we need to post it, we've had a lot of newbies in WhatsApp and you want to post something there, like you want to upload the workbook or something, I'm fine with that. But just know I forward almost everything that I feel we do in the region that is applicable for either new consultants or future leaders. So I don't want you to have to do any admin, except make sure they're in the Amber Region group and make sure they're in WhatsApp, okay? So all of that, really, I don't want you to have any additional minutes to that. I pretty much got my gig down on that. In the Smart Start unit, if you would like to go in as trainers, I don't care if you're on a Monday night or a Tuesday night, you can watch the 4 recordings. It took us 9 months to get to that point. Okay, so please don't think that's your role the first 3 months. I don't want anything recorded for Tuesday nights, and I don't care if it's outdated by our current programs from Monday night. Okay, so first quarter, we're just free riding and learning. You're going to learn your styles. You're going to see what tools maybe we need, specifically Tuesday night. That's new to all of us, so we'll kind of check in here and there, okay, just to see what are you guys learning as you do it. You will not know based on 1 week, not know based on 2. Once you get 3 under your belt, you start to figure it out, okay? So we just get to figure it out. So Monday night, you have recorded sessions. In the email that I'll forward to all of you, you actually have links right to those recordings, okay? So inside of that unit, if a consultant is saying, oh my gosh, I can't make it next week, great. You always send her to units. You send her back to, if she's new versus renewed, her email. Everything's in the email, everything's in units. So where do we find everything?
Email and units.
You got it. Okay. So, all right, that's in the Smart Start or in the unit. In the 4 weeks to leadership, I don't know who they are. I don't plan to. Okay. It's impossible. The leaders really have to invite people. So I'm going to do a video and I will really do an instructional 2020 view of here's the toolkit you get for new consultants. I have invitations, they can mail, they can email, they can post. We have the workbook, we have everything there for them. They have to do it, and there's even a graduation certificate. So we need leaders to make this a big deal. It's not our role to sell it, okay? Then for the 4 weeks to leadership, I will have no way to know who's attending, what they're doing, okay? Except I'll see activity in the WhatsApp group. If you know someone is on your call and they just got in the WhatsApp group, the only thing I would say that could help is to say, hey, let's welcome Evelyn with Vicky Hacking. Okay, thanks for joining tonight. Welcome to the team. If you do that, I can add the leader, and I also can say a welcome from the regional just as much as all of you. Okay, it's the only little gap that I don't know who anybody is on there. Okay, but that could be a way that you could do that if you're in charge that week as a team and you see them pop in. A lot of times on Monday night, I see people hopping on and they get in the group. Put their name in there if you know them, okay? So, all right, Tuesday night, we will make some slides. I will review with all of you, and that's a little bit more networky and coaching, okay? So, but we'll craft that. I will have it all ready. You honestly can look at it in a day and roll with it. The key is that you want to find your style, okay? The reason I'm saying to all trainers, go in and watch your trainers. These ladies did it for at least 9 months in a row, some of them longer, like Marie and Lori. But you will see a partnership. You will see a little bit of a style. They made their own slides at the end. You will too once we figure out what the needs are, okay? So again, I don't have an email to send. I will just have everything in units for the Tuesday nights, okay? And then in whatever we do in WhatsApp. All right, that is about enough information that I could like put in a whole big lot. So I'm done dumping. Tell me questions you have, and then we're gonna also do one more little thing on Zoom. I've got Lori's slides that we made for our trainers previously. So I'm gonna have Lori kind of walk through her slides. She's like, I don't remember them, but I do. So we will take you through that as well, just for some tips for training for Zoom. All right, questions, comments, anything. Go, Marie, thank you.
How many people consultants are usually on the Future Leader call now, average?
That's a great question. Let me do Mondays and Tuesdays so that everybody understands, because they're new. It's a great one. So how many typical did you see attend a Monday night training, if you could go on average?
For week 1, what do we get, Lori? About 15 average, 15 to 20?
15.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me, by the way? Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sound is on.
Well, 15. We get about 15 on week 1.
Okay.
Gil and I probably had about 10 last night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
If we hit double digits, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
we want it to be bigger,
Sure.
to be very honest, right? I mean, we're typically sponsoring, if you go by week, we're typically sponsoring about 40 people a week. Okay, we know a lot maybe aren't into the business, but I really want to drive the leaders to get behind the invite. If they made a call and said, did you get your email? Can you attend? Great. Our goal is not to have leaders there. And I'll tell you why. It's not that we kick them off,
Mm-hmm.
but it changes the entire energy. Okay?
Mhm.
Leaders attending, leaders do not need to go. They can watch the recording. Okay, so we're really going to encourage people not to be there as leaders. And the reason is why, trainers?
You want them to be able to talk openly with questions or
Yeah.
ideas, and they just might feel more comfortable asking someone outside their group the
Very
questions.
much so.
And they're all,
Mhm.
it's also they're in a community of like-minded women who are at the same place in their business. Sometimes when the leader's there, they get intimidated. They don't want to ask, they think they're asking something.
Mhm.
They should already know it. So I just think it's like kids being able to play without their parents around,
Well, I don't know if that's
Mommy's
good or
not
bad. No.
watching me tonight, you know what I mean? I don't have to perform. I can just be me,
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, they won't feel. Yeah,
go
they
ahead.
won't feel pressured if they have a question or anything like that here, or they won't feel like it's a stupid question if they have leaders on here. So.
Yeah, it's a confidence place. It's a safe place. It's not recorded. We do not record coaching and networking sessions ever, by the way. Okay, I don't believe in that. I will not do that. Number one, but number two, we also find if leaders are there, they start to control the call. I'm just being honest.
They start to answer the questions.
They become the trainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not the trainers, all right? So again, that's kind of one of the key steps to it, okay? So we're not going to necessarily say don't be there, but I'm going to come out and really talk to every leader with a message that says, here's what we expect, here's what we need you to participate in. You're partnered with us. So we're not the leader, but we also don't want you there for that basic training.
Right.
Okay. So that was a great subject. So again, from my perspective, Marie, the most I've ever had is 6 to 8
Okay.
in the 6 months. I even was doing it at the beginning of the year, but not as consistently.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing as many repeat. But I started changing it. Part of that is my fault, okay? Because at first we said, great, they go Monday night, and once they have 2 sponsors, they go to Thursday night. Well, first of all, the message never was clear anywhere. Like, no one caught on to it. So sometimes people would appear, and I'd be doing this, great, let's talk about your 2 sponsors. They didn't have any. I'm like, okay, never mind. So no micromanaging.
Right.
That's why if we call it what it really is called to do and become, then they know who attends,
Right.
right? So if you call it
Yeah.
Smart Start Advanced, you don't have a clue what that means,
Right.
right? So if we say, 4 weeks to leadership, oh, well, obviously it's where I go get my 4-week plan to become a manager.
Right.
If I call it
Mhm,
4 weeks
mhm.
to business launch or, business opening, it is what it is. It's the 4 weeks of basics to businesses, right? To opening. So, because if they come on and again, they're just looking for the basics, we have that in Be Beautiful in modules. Those basics never change. This is more about getting off to a great start to have four $100 months, 4 months in a row, VIP minimum, and sponsor 4 to make 50 and 11%. That's what Monday's about. Tuesday is about 4 weeks. You're going to wake up the next month as a manager.
Yep.
So we're going to get a little more literal. Okay.
Okay.
So consultants can come back, but I'm going to be really honest, and we can be a little bold about this. I know it's a great community and I know they can come back, but we want them to come back and grow to leader, right? So hang out with your leaders if you can, hang out with your own team. And it's not that they can't keep coming back. I don't want to tell them no, but they need to graduate and then apply what they're learning, right? So making it a big deal for those who do every week, it could just say who's finishing week 4. Great job. We're not going to graduate them. But again, great. Make sure you tell your manager so she celebrates your graduation. Okay. So we're going to try to do a little bit more leader driven. We were learning this year. And I really feel by the last quarter, we had the recordings, we had everything aligned, and then the programs changed to VIP. So trust me, now we got to change again, but that's okay. So it's not really about the programs. So, okay, other questions? Thank you, Marie, for that. Go ahead, Evelyn.
I'm going to speak for Gail. She cannot talk. She has a question in chat. She says, so if a leader contacts us to add their consultant, we can add them, or does each leader have to have access to add to WhatsApp?
No leader has it but the trainers that I allow to.
Right. And my
Only
question is, do we still need to take attendance, or no, we don't need to bother with that anymore? We usually ask who's your leader, so we just still need to do that. Okay.
Well, I think if you're going to get to know them, you want to be relatable. So the most important thing is, great, where are you coming from? When did you join? What state are you in? Who's your leader? Great. Oh, we love her. Oh, Cheryl, she's amazing. She's one of our trainers on Tuesday. It's a connecting point. It's FORM, right? So it's more about connecting versus attendance. I don't ever see attendance. I don't know who's there. I don't want to manage it.
Okay.
So thank you. It's a great question too. I don't really plan to do that. I'd love to really be able to do that with the future leaders, but I don't have minutes, and it's okay. They're there for that training, and they need to, again, our constant is to say, great, make sure you've got your call now with your leader this week, right? Make sure you let your leader know. Like last night, I had 2 that really decided, you know what, I think I could promote in 2 weeks. They didn't come on that way, but by the time we were done, they saw how they could manage 15 days to success. So I said, now you must have a daily call with your leader. No option. So again, we just really market that for the leader versus maintaining who's the list. Let me call the leader and let her know. I wouldn't keep up, and nor should you. So great question.
So Jackie, do you feel like it's our job to set the expectation that when they join the first call, that they complete all 4 calls, kind of that's the bar? We're hoping that they'll be held accountable to that in a positive way, of course, where we're saying, this is really going to help you be more successful and take you to your next step. And so is the goal to retain them every week during those 4 weeks?
Of course. What I find is weekly is easier. When I had every 2 weeks, I find gaps.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, I'm like, okay, it's the weekly thing, as goes everything, right? So,
yeah.
And again, it's, and each week it's like, great, how many weeks have you been here? All right, so like last night, even though those 2 had not been there, I said, well, the purpose of our time is to promote by January. What if that could happen? So tell me how many were on your team. Tell me your biggest obstacle, and then let's solve that together. So they were in very different places. They hadn't met before, but by the time we were done, they felt pretty ready to go January 1st. And I said, and if not, come back again in January. You stay here until you achieve that target.
Okay,
Right?
you just answered my question, that if somebody doesn't promote in the 4 weeks, they're encouraged to stay connected and involved until they do. So long as their commitment is, they should be on the weekly call.
Absolutely. That's what it's there for, to be in a community with that common goal. Now, they're not building themselves, and they're not getting anywhere. Eventually, they'll take themselves out. I'm not here to have rules. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want a lot of rules. I just want them to be wise to achieve their goals. That's all it is. So, and that's up to the leader. The only thing I really just know about watching this over the year is to not have a leader there. Right? And once in a while when they show up, like I've had that with the future leaders, I involve them then, typically. Depends where the conversation is when they pop in. But sometimes if I just have 1 or 2, I'm kind of grateful, and a leader's there and we kind of bounce. So, Evelyn, how would you answer that?
Right.
So that's a great subject. Evelyn, how do you manage that as a leader? right? So sometimes it's okay. I don't get into kicking them off a lot, to be very honest, but many times I don't even involve them. So if the crowd is going and they're sitting there, I don't even say, hi, this is Marie, unless I feel I need them. I don't mean to be rude, but it's not for them.
Right.
Right? So that's okay.
Yeah.
It really is okay. So you'll figure it out as you go. You start to get your vibe as training teams.
Right.
So I will be sending you everyone's names, everyone's phone numbers, everyone's weeks, everyone's email. You will have some of the tools. Over Christmas, I'll be redesigning the slides in the workbook. And it'll just morph itself. I'll give you some dates that I'm going to really work with more so the future managers, because what I can tell you is the nice thing about our Monday nights. So let me kind of finish with this onboarding piece. I will be onboarding the future leaders, but the new consultant training, actually, Lori's a master at it, so she's going to onboard with Betty herself. Evelyn, master. She's going to work with Evelyn herself, okay? Or with Carolyn, excuse me. Michelle, master, she's been here all year. She'll work with Rochelle. And then Jackie and Hannah, Lisa is going to work with both of you, okay? So she's just going to go through, because the slides are done. They'll give you just a couple of tips and the flavor of the call, the most asked questions, the most needed. You're typically doing your presentation. I'm going to do an overall, and then the trainers can share any tips. Typically about 30 minutes or so, 30 to 40, and then you'll see Q&A. Okay, so, and again, each of the trainers, I know in the future leader group, Marie is, of course, a master, as well as Vicki and Gail. So they'll help us in that onboarding with all of you independently. Okay, so we're going to do just one more group just because I'll review the slides and everything with all of you. So everybody will just have a really easy transition. If you're freaked out on Zoom, don't worry, we'll help you with that. We'll be doing all of that. I don't know if we really need to go through that today, but we might do that just in the other group. So that being said, tips. So as trainers, what tips could you give? What recommendations can you give? Take it from there. Anything you've learned in your journey, and then we'll take questions.
Well, the first thing we discussed in our meeting last week was that we don't want leaders on the new consultant calls. And so how I'm going to handle that is if leaders come on, I'm going to say, hey, is there any leaders who would like to introduce their new consultants before they leave us tonight? You know, because that way it's like, that's the whole point of it. But that way it gives them like so you're leaving, just letting you know, but because I really think we have a chance to restart this year without leaders in that group. And I think it's super important that we hold the line on that. And there's no reason in the world why they should be offended. So, you guys will find your own style, but that's kind of how I'll handle it on that first week.
And I like that because sometimes, like, for example, myself, I got on the call last night, Jackie, because Deb, I connected with her. Thank you. We didn't even know each other. So I said, she told me she was going to be on the call. I said, all right, well, I'll jump on just so that we can see each other, know. And then I texted her. I said, I'm gonna get off, but I'll call you later.
Right.
So let's see how you like the call. So that's perfect, Lori, though, just so that, because I really didn't want to stay on the whole hour.
Yeah.
Honestly, but
it also
I didn't want her to
frozen.
think that I wasn't interested in what she was learning about either. So I was like,
well, and she wasn't supposed to be there. She walked away because she was on the wrong time. Oh my God, that was so funny. I'm like, Deb.
So I think you guys can find your own vibe, but I think it's really important that we do that at least for some the 4 weeks to launch.
Right.
And then for WhatsApp, the way that works is you can't add someone without them being a contact inside your phone. So if someone's going to join, you have to actually put them in your phone. You can delete them later if you want, and then add them. The tip I would say is if they put in their profile what their name is, even if you don't have them in their contacts, it will show their number and then their name. So just kind of give them that tip. When you join WhatsApp, make sure you go into your profile, at least put your first name and last initial or whatever. So that otherwise sometimes it'll show their email or show something else. So just make sure they have them put their name there. so that even if we don't have as a contact, we kind of know who it is.
Mhm.
That would be my 2 top tips.
Excellent. Love it. Thank you. Anything
For-
else, trainers or future
Lori
trainers?
and
with
I kind of
questions?
bounced. We got together before we actually did the actual training, just so that we knew who wanted to take what slide. Maybe I'm more comfortable talking about the VIP club, and so that they ran a lot smoother. And to say, you want to take this one? No, I don't want to take this one. You take this one, or whatever. So it just kind of goes smoothly. So just kind of do a practice run with whoever you're doing it with, so that you're on the same page.
And keep everybody muted while you're training, because and we tell people, we're going to mute all of you. Feel free to unmute if you have a question, but just for background noise purposes, we're just going to keep you guys muted unless you're ready to share, because you don't want them to think that they can't talk. But at the same time, if there's anybody unmuted, especially with a cell phone, there's a lot of background noise and feedback, and it just makes it hard for other people to hear.
Exactly.
So
And just know that every week it's different. At least it was for us every time we did it, depending upon the group that's there. Some of the slides we never got to, some of the slides we got through in 10 minutes. Sometimes we went off on tangents because somebody had asked a question. So just don't feel that if you don't do it perfectly or the way that you think it should be in your mind, it's okay, because it's going to take on a life of its own once the people get on and like that too. So just as long as you cover get the main point across, however it goes from after that, it's okay. And it was supposed to be that way, because those are the questions that people wanted to ask too, but to kind of always keep it to whatever your topic is for that week, because sometimes the topics will overlap and you find that so what Lori would say, or I would say, okay, well, that we're going to cover that more next week, or in week 3, or in week 4. So that way you're not doing like a different week than what you're supposed to be doing. So
Yeah, and you will see when we make the slides for the 4 weeks to leadership, same thing. The first week, they kind of need to know, what is leadership, right? And where does this take me? They need to have their why. So we really only do kind of why, what, how. It really breaks it down.
Right.
So when you see all of those slides, and there's not going to be very many because they just keep duplicating, and it's more interactive with the future managers than it is consultant training. So when that happens, it's okay to say, you know what, that's great. Remember, you're going to have your own training team WhatsApp for each group.
Right.
And if you happen to say, you know what, this group needs this next week, we could just tell that's what they need, help each other, right? So, or you cannot, especially on the Monday nights, which we'll also have in the leaders, if you didn't get to the workbook, you're there for the audience, right? You're there to support and guide them. And so at the end of the day, it would be, hey, that's a great question for your leader. Why don't you bring that topic up with her, right? So keep thinking with your leader. And if not, we want to give you homework. Let's take out slide number 4 and 5, because the slides are going to be in the units, right? Or they were in their email. Go in and print those pages, and why don't you work on that this week? And then you can go in the WhatsApp group, right? And say, hey, by the way, don't forget to look at these 2 slides this week. That's going to be our focus, and let's share throughout the week. So there's always places. It's not about perfection. It's about them, right? So trust your gut to be attentive. You also can have time robbers. Someone who goes on and on and on. If anything goes negative, right? If anything goes to the time robber, it's that pause to just say, those are great topics. Maybe we get back to the focus. And why don't you text your manager right now and set up a time with her tomorrow morning? Those are great topics for your leader to work with you on, right? So keep going. Remember, you're not there to be the magic queen bee, okay? So you are if it's the right trend and track. So, all right, anything else from our trainers for questions or tips from our trainers?
I just had one thing to say too, just like you've been saying, you just go with the flow of the people that are there. So if there's different things going on, and we had a lot of times, we had a couple managers and someone else that got on, and then it took up a lot of time, so we couldn't finish in time or whatever. So you kind of just have to talk back and forth with each other, because I used to talk to Vicki and say, oh, Vicki, what do you think? We would try to put it to a stop. So it's just hard. You don't want to be mean. You don't want to be rude. But like you said, we'll just cut it off. But I think the crowd, it just depends on who is there. And they get something out of it no matter who it is, because I still get stuff out of meetings. So it's been fun. So, all right.
Cool. Go ahead, Evelyn.
So I would say connect with your audience as much as possible. Sometimes they're shy. We've kind of noticed, it depends on the group. Sometimes they're really shy and don't want to say much. Other times we do get more of a conversation. But we try to use the slides as less as possible. We were fortunate enough to have a sort of tool. So instead of me showing just slides, I actually would hold up product of different tools and work that way. But and then I would do digital tools, like show them the back office, how to find all the non-retail items. So and then with every segment, after we do a segment of training, we always would ask, are there any questions? I know that was a lot of information. Is there any questions for anyone? And pretty much they're all get it. It's pretty easy. And we always, in the beginning, sometimes in the middle, and then at the end, we always let them know we're only here to supplement for them, and they have to be in touch with their leaders. We always make sure of that they know. Be sure you contact them. And then we also tell them this is not a time to take notes, because everything that we have available it's in the units. And if there's any further questions, that we are available on the WhatsApp for the next few days. Should they want to ask questions, there's lots of leaders available. So we always make sure that they're trying to connect at least in the WhatsApp group. I also put my homework there. I always end the call with a homework assignment for them. And ours is easy. It's really just, what was your favorite tool and how will you use it this week? So, so you come up with whatever assignment you want, just to keep them engaged. And then have fun. We really have fun. Gail and I have done this for a while. We just kind of, have fun together. So now I'm looking forward to working with Carolyn, and we'll have our own style together. But it's a great experience. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, I got a question for all your brilliant brains. Go ahead, Hannah.
I have one quick question. I just want to be clear, because I'm not really clear on this yet. The new name for the Smart Start is 4 weeks to launch.
I don't know. So that was my final question for you all.
Okay.
I don't know what to call things.
I think, launch and leadership both start with L. I know that's stupid, but it's 4 weeks to launch, 4 weeks to leadership. It says what it is. I don't think we need to add like 50 million other words in there. I don't know. It kind of flows, but you guys can all put your 2 cents in. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you. Okay. What were you going to say, Evelyn?
Esther has a question and comment. She says, what about people who may not have an active leader or other similar circumstances?
They've got their WhatsApp group.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we see that, but they're fine.
Facebook group too, because we show them all the different places to support where we have support. Amber Region. We tell them about the Beauty Insider. So we got you, Esther. We'll take care of them.
Yeah, we haven't found anybody without enough support, to be really honest. So I think they just love the community. I mean, we always like smile thinking of Betty Green. Here she was like coming back into Jafra, and oh my God, her Monday night like brought her into a community, right, Betty? And it was like that got you into this place of, oh my gosh, I can do this. And you connected, you built relationships. And like I said, I don't care if they come back. I don't want to be a rulie. For Betty, that was her need. She needed to be there. She didn't have a team anywhere around her, and that was her support. So again, and once they're a leader, there's plenty of other support. Okay, so once they're a leader, there's again not a reason for it. And again, now we've got recordings. So if they want to go hear tips and ideas again, and they've got the modules with Jafra. So, but that was important for Betty. So if that happens and you've got that even consultant coming back Monday night, we can't go like, didn't you graduate? right? It's like, oh, come on back. What did you learn? What are you here back learning again, right?
She's
So,
the alumni.
right, it's like, it's okay. I mean, it's okay to have that. The key is leaders have to use their Monday nights and their Tuesday nights to go build their team. So it's not smart time usage, right? Trust the system, let it go, and go find new consultants. So that's all I got. So, all right. Any other questions? So, oh, sorry, let me come back. Words. I don't know. So we can call it 4 weeks to launch. Does a normal person walking off the street starting a business know what that means?
See, that's my question. I
Okay.
totally hear what you're saying about the alliteration, Lori. Another thought I had maybe was like 4 weeks of business basics. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think what, like you said, you want it to be titled something that makes sense to them and is understood.
So there's two ways you can look at this. It doesn't have to be called 4 weeks. It's just that people know they need to go 4 weeks. Because Carolyn had a good question. So is the expectation all 4 weeks? Yes, but if we don't say 4 weeks, they pop in. Literally, I don't mean to be rude, but they do. They don't realize it's a 4-week program. What I think when you say 4 weeks, they will go 4 weeks and they will be done in 4 weeks. Everybody can find 1 hour a week and then they're done. Their mind is a little more open versus saying, oh, join us Monday nights, join us Tuesday nights. It's a forever club, right? So there's a key to the 4-week word. So it can be fast start to, the reason I would add in business launch or business opening, whatever that is, I don't care if you're restarting your business and you're reopening it, you're getting a fresh start, right? 4 weeks to business, starting, business startup. I don't know. I'm still baffled on the words. If I say launch, I know what Lori's doing and I like it simple. I don't know if everybody really gets that word.
I would be a little concerned about those people that we're sponsoring that don't want to do a business. They are only coming in because they want personal products for themselves, personal shopping, but we still want them coming in because number one, they don't know all that Jafra can do for them. So I still want them to come on and see what's available. And there's certain things that they're going to learn about that even if they're only smart shoppers, that's going to be valuable to them. So, but using the word business will not really get them on.
And I don't care if they're on. They're low-hanging fruit. We're not here to convince them to run a business.
Right.
But if you want to make money, right, this is how you do it. That's why kind of the word was smart start and we did smart weeks.
That's
right?
why I like that.
I don't want to call it basics, you guys, and I don't want to call it business mastery. One, we're not that dang good. That's not, okay? Do not put yourself to that. I'm not being responsible for that. That's a company thing. Business building, maybe, but the basics are in. I don't want to compete with the Jafra modules. Right. Remember, our expectations are you're going to earn fast start. You're going to do VIP club and 4 months of 400 to earn welcome to Jafra VIP. I don't care if you're new or not new. You just don't have welcome to Jafra. So it's 4 months of 400. Our whole mantra is how to have $400 months. And if you want more money, $400 weeks. The second mantra is build a team of 4. And again, once you're done with these 4 weeks, you hop over to our Tuesday, 4 weeks to leadership to get your 11%. Make sense? So I don't want it to be too complex. And I that's why, in a way, I don't care if we have wholesalers. If somebody has a 1% interest in making money, they'll join. If they don't, I'm not their manager. I'm not here to convince. We just have a place to get you off to a fast start.
Right.
Right?
What if you do like some sort of play on the 4 and the 400? Because that's the goal. Like, 4 weeks, 400. I don't know. That might be too complicated. People won't understand that either. Or you could just call it the Welcome to Jafra program because that's what we're really doing.
I gotta call it 4 weeks to something.
Okay.
How about something like to do with the VIP? 4 weeks to VIP or to I don't know, just to get them with that, because like on My Smart Money, it's you know, 400 in sales or whatever. So I don't know.
We thought of that, but you can't be a VIP in 1 month. It takes 3 months. So
Well, that's true.
4 weeks to
That's
It takes
success.
4 months to do the Welcome to Jasper program to, you know, to really, so
Right.
you have to do 4 months of 400.
Right.
you just do 4 weeks.
4
to
weeks to something, 4 weeks to success, 4 weeks.
That's what it was. 4 weeks to success. That's what it was.
Oh, it was Smart Start.
It is.
And then it was, it was 4. It was,
They had a colon, Smart
Oh.
Start, colon.
Okay. Well, I'm
Just-
I mean, I like
Drop the
business.
part.
I like business launch. I mean, and it's Jaffer's freedom to be you. You can do your business however you want it. You want to just do it online, collecting orders. You want to do it with parties, or it's a business launch. You're launching your business, and then let's show you the like we do in week ones. These are the different ways you can do your business. You know, this is what a $400 order looks like. These are the different ways you can do that. You choose how you want to do it. But
You build your business your way. I don't know.
Right.
So you can keep your brainstorm.
Colon, build your business your way. It also for encouraging leaders to follow up with their people, which they should be doing, even if they don't understand the launch thing. That's for the leader to tell them, like, you need to get plugged into this if you really start your business. Like, we as leaders know when we're sponsoring people who the business builders are and who are the personal shoppers. And so if I have a business builder, I'm saying, hey, you need to get into this 4 weeks to launch or 4 weeks to business launch or whatever. It's going to show you how to build your business.
But even your personal shoppers need to know about the website, all the free tools and everything else that they have available to them, and then let them decide.
Well,
Exactly.
and that's it. I mean, because, you know, many times it's kind of like, you know, give us those 4 weeks and then you decide where you want to land.
Right.
You know, so, you know, just, it's your introductory month or whatever,
Right.
your introductory.
Because the ones that are working and they just want to order for themselves, they most of the time want to still act like they're our client and they want us to help them order. They're the ones that we're doing most of the work for because they don't get on and learn everything. So,
Why we want them here.
yeah,
They won't
I
stay.
know.
They don't. If they're not here,
Touch 'em and they
exactly.
can
They'll
come
learn
on.
and they don't stay. Yeah, they
Yeah,
learn and
okay.
they don't stay.
They'll
Yeah.
bounce off.
Touch 'em.
All right. So I have to go. So here's the deal. Not a big deal. We'll figure it out. All right. I'm pretty good with some words. I'll take your feedback in a WhatsApp group. So we'll make it work. All right. So that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the all trainer. I was going to do 2, but I probably won't. I'll do an all trainer WhatsApp for all of us. Okay. I'm also going to post in there, and I'm not showing you this to read it to. I'm just going to give you a glimpse of what's coming in your WhatsApp. Way too many things going on here. Okay. So what we have is Lori has some tips on using the Zoom. Okay. So she's given us a whole entire packet. We actually have it in her techie tools in the units, but I'm going to send that as well as the Smart Start workbook. So it's a time to review. Sorry, bear with me. Did you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, pause. Weird. Okay.
We saw your emails. Hey.
Yeah, 80,000 a day. So, okay. So that being said, again, at the end of it, we are going to get that all organized this week. The only thing I have left on my palette is, again, for those of you on Smart Start Monday, please partner up between now and January 3rd. Again, it's not really rocket science, but if you want to go through it, you want to practice, manage your time, I'll send you everybody's info. You'll see that as well in the WhatsApp group. So if you can, again, get yourself ready to go through the slides and onboard. That one's easier. For all of us as future leaders, we need to have a time to kind of review what we're going to do. I have 2 options for you. I am fine going later because truly I'm supposed to be on vacation, but that really doesn't ever happen too well. So I will come back in on certain days if it helps you have more time, because it will be completely up to you. So I think you're all fine. I think you're all skilled, and I think we'll figure it out as we go, just like I was doing the last 6 months. But I can come back in on December 30th if needed. I can come back in and sorry, forgive me. And I can do something January 2nd or 3rd. So those are my 3-day options. This is just the future leader team right now. I think all of you will be fine for the Monday nights with your own team onboarding. Okay. Is there any one of those days somebody from the 8 on Tuesdays cannot do?
I'll be traveling on the 30th.
Okay. Okay. So
Can I ask one quick
Yep, go
question?
ahead.
Okay, Lori or Jackie, both of you, do one of the trainers have to have Zoom, like not just free Zoom, like upgrade to real Zoom?
Yeah, I need to learn that too.
I'm just curious. We can talk about it later. I just want to know.
You probably would, because if you have the freebie, you get kicked off after 45 minutes.
Right.
So
that's what I
hang
was
on.
But
We have
not for
answers.
TV. No.
We have answers. Go ahead, Laura.
You guys all log in as me. So
Yes.
you have access the same way Jackie and I have access.
And you are not allowed to use it any other time.
No,
Okay.
ever. Because it'll
Oh,
mess
right, 'cause
with
they're using this number.
Because we can't ever change the number, you guys. Okay, everything in the region is the same, so Lori and I give you access to that account.
And once
Okay.
you get on, you can change your name. So they don't think you're Lori Alley if you change your name to Hannah.
Do you know how many Lori Alleys there are out there? It's gonna be like 17.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
Lord, who thought a world would have that? So,
It's very easy to log in as me. The first time it'll take a tweak, but and for the first month, I'll just make sure that 9 o'clock I'm available in case you guys are freaking out. But it's not hard. And then once you get in, you just right click on your picture basically and change your name. And then it's a super easy password, and you just use my email. And then when you come in, you want to make whoever comes in is going to, and whoever has the slides will be sharing the screen, and the other person will not be, but you can help each other out. And then you're going to make your partner the co-host. So whoever comes in first is the host, and the other person logs in as themselves, and the host makes them a co-host, so that you both have access to all of the chats and all of the muting people, because you need to support each other. Whoever's talking needs to just be able to train, and the other person's doing the backside. So part of that is in the training slides that Jackie was talking about, she's sending you. So if you have questions, I can do a short jump on and walk through stuff if anybody has any questions. I know a lot of you have been using Zoom for a while, so it shouldn't be too hard of a transition, but if there's anybody who's stuck or doesn't get it or is frustrated, we can work through that before your time.
So what we'll do is on the future leader onboarding group, we will do the beginning with Zoom. If Laura can hop on, great. If not, we all know how to do it, okay? So we'll do that. So if you're even on the Monday nights, you're not on Tuesdays, and you need a little bit of help with that for your confidence for the week on working with Zoom, come on in the beginning, and then we'll do the slides after. Okay, so we'll add that little bit of 15 minutes of Zoom, and then the rest of the hour we'll take for the trainers for future leader. Okay, so we'll just make sure we do that. So we're gonna set this as Thursday, January 2nd, 1 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, noon Mountain. I think I hit them all. So that will be where we do the future leader training onboarding, and anybody else for Zoom training in the beginning, and then we'll go through what we do each week. So as partners, again, you can certainly chat before, get connected, get to know each other experientially if you need to, but at the same time, you can just, set up some practice time, maybe Friday morning or Monday of the following week. Okay, if you want to just take and practice. Know this, if you're going to use Zoom, okay, and go in and practice, literally practice on Zoom, you have to let Lori and I know, because we own this account. I live on Zoom I'm on camera 8 to 10 hours a day, okay? So if you're gonna literally go into Zoom as a team and practice something, please make sure we know.
Yeah, we have to
Can we
schedule
use
it.
our own personal accounts
Yeah.
to practice?
Yes. And,
Yeah, you can.
even if you have a free account, as long as there's only 2 of you on screen, you can go forever. There's no cutoff.
Correct.
It's only when you want more than 2 people on that you're going to have a problem.
Right.
So you don't even need our account to practice. It would just be logging in the first time. And like Jackie said, the first time you get on, I'll make sure I'm around so you guys can log in, and then I'll be on WhatsApp or text or whatever in case you get stuck. But it's really not hard.
Yeah, you can always text us. We'll hop on. One of us is typically available to boogie on really quick on a Monday, Tuesday night, and we'll just be there to help if you get stuck. No worries. Okay. So, and you can practice anywhere, but if you feel more comfortable and you want to use it, it's okay. Don't think you can't. Just let us know. Okay. So from there, all of the new trainers, we will do a Be Your Best Presenter training for you exclusively, kind of a little bit of feeding your soul. We'll be adding that. I'm not going to give you a date right now. Let's just work on this and we'll go from there. For any of you that over Christmas break within the next week or so, if you want to be a part of going through the slides or workbook with me for the future leaders, more than happy to brainstorm with you. You don't have to. I don't need that. I've got plenty of things mapped out. But if you would like to and that's your forte, let me know and I'll hook up with you before the 2nd. Okay. All right. Anything else before we go?
So the slide that shows all of the trainers, you have the picture and let us know the weeks and all that. Are you redoing that for us so I can just put that in with what we're already doing?
Let me just get through Christmas and get things ready and let you know.
Okay.
So
Otherwise, I'll take that out of my PowerPoint and we won't use that slide. I can just
you
tell
don't have to
them.
worry about it till January. So I'll do some updates to everything.
Okay.
Once, because I have to redo the Smart Start workbook. I have to redo the email and I have to then do the whole future leader thing. So you will all have that by January 2nd. Okay, so you don't have to, if you see it and like within your slides, if I can't get into it because you saved it as a PowerPoint and I can't edit it, then I'll send you that page.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll go back through and just see what I can edit from all that you guys have sent, and if not, I'll send it over to you because you won't need it until, again, week 2 of January.
Okay,
So,
no problem.
okay, all right, anybody else? Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Cool. Go play around in the Smart Start unit. Go have some fun, and we'll get everything lined up on the back side here and there, and it'll just keep kind of flowing in. And if you come up with a name in the middle of the night, we'll go from there. So, all right. Thanks, everyone, for today. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.